Peace. So I know the audio probably isn't the greatest with this because I'm out by the lake. And I don't think that you can hear me when I have my Bluetooth headphones on. But peace, this is the word for today. I went live on Facebook, but I didn't really feel like I was clear on Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan makes a reference in the book Torchlight for America and says, "He who prescribes the diameter of your knowledge dictates the circumference of your activity." And in that, he's basically expressing that who we become is highly impacted by what goes into our minds. Who we become, who we are, how we think, how we move is based on a belief system. And to the degree that we don't believe in ourselves is the degree that we don't progress. And the reality is that in many instances, there's people who are influencing our thinking that don't necessarily have our best interests in mind. So, that pushes me to really look at why education is so important to me. Is that's one of the main sources, or it is the main source in which people's minds are programmed, in which how we identify and see ourselves and see the world. And even though it may not always be formal education is definitely that which is helping us to see our value and see ourselves and how we perceive ourselves. And many of us would like to say that we're independent thinkers and that we make our own decisions, but there's so many variables that you don't necessarily control that, that's not always necessarily the case. So I work with individuals, the brothers in many instances, who are interested in coming into the nation. And sometimes they make reference in saying, "Are you trying to brainwash me?" And the question that I usually raise up is your brain dirty? And the reality is, if we live in America and we, are in this society, there's a lot of things that are being pushed on us that we may not even be conscious and aware of. So the question is, do our brains, do our minds need to be washed? How hopefully we bathe every day, but what are we doing to bathe our minds? I look at, and I said this when I went on Facebook, is that, the reality is, that there's individuals who are willing to spend millions and millions of dollars just to have a commercial. They're not doing that just for vanity. They're doing that because they know that translates into money. They know that there's a return on investment, that they're willing to spend all of this money on advertising and marketing because they know, not they're guessing, not they're hoping, but they know that they're having an impact on the minds of the masses of the people who see that commercial, who hear that commercial, whatever it is, however it comes into our minds, be it, television, be it, in print, be it on the radio, all of those things, that those investments aren't just being made, just because. And if they know that they can impact our thinking and impact our perceptions, by a few minutes, even if it's a minute commercial, what's happening to us when we're in a classroom with teachers who don't love us, who don't respect us, who don't care about us? What's happening when we go to a movie and we're watching a movie that's created about our condition, about us, that, they don't necessarily have our best interest in mind. So the reality is that we have to make a more conscious effort and decision to be brainwashed, to make sure that we're escaping from this reality and this society and what's been set up for us, and to begin to create independent institutions, begin to create an environment and space that would allow us to develop and be what the Creator intends and desires for us to be. So the word for today is just, is that the worst slave is the slave that doesn't even know that they're a slave. Let's begin to break the bars. Let's begin to remove the boundaries that have been placed on us. But first we have to acknowledge that there are boundaries that are being placed on us and that we have to make a concerted effort to attack. The last point I want to make real quick is that, one of the things that I started doing is I stopped saying that the educational system in this country isn't working for us, or it's not working, or it's not successful. It's successful for those who have created it. You know, so it's doing exactly what it was designed to do. What are we going to do to make it different? If the educational system is working and doing exactly what it was designed to do by its creators, then that's basically an outright declaration of war. And if it is war, and it is, then we have to be more responsive. And it's not about necessarily us doing something physical, but the reality is, at the end of the day, this is a war of the mind. So on that note, I'm about to finish my walk. Until next time, peace. Assalamu alaikum.